Don't act shocked.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Jennie Good News. I don't know how long this one is gonna be. So the other day I saw this tweet of a TikTok of the XG girls on stage at the 88 Rising Festival, I think is what it is. I don't fucking know. And they look like that. And naturally I was like, oh yeah, expected, like for sure. But then I'm looking at the response to it and everyone's confused, everyone's flabbergasted. Like the one tweet in question was like they're getting a bit too comfortable, and then the other tweets I saw were people who were completely surprised and taken aback that XG of all groups did this. And this is where I have to ask a question for the culture. Don't get mad at me, but why y'all act surprised that XG are niggaboos? Like, this is who they've been since debut. It's not just an XG related thing. Like, many non-black people around the world use black culture and music and art as a means to come up, but then like be anti-black as hell. And it's like, yeah, we've seen this movie before. I don't know why we pretending like we don't know the ending. What do you think they've been trying to emulate this entire time? Like, it was never appreciation. I'm sorry, it's just very on brand for them. Like, this, there was no other way they was gonna go. They was not gonna do a 180 and I don't know, be whitewashed. Like, they was gonna go straight into black culture head first, like, obviously, because like they genuinely have been cosplaying as black people for a minute. So like, why the sudden shock? Thrift shop, keep your change and your 2 cents. Back gals on the rise, you a nuisance.
You are from Korea!
Then we move on to mascara, which I really don't remember, but I know they had some AVE in there.
Oh, yeah, mascara game. Don't play games. Don't feel like a suplex.
You are not black!
Then came along Shooting Star. And isn't the first line, correct me if I'm wrong, is the first line not everything I do it A1 flawless? Don't they talk about they ops and like left to right or something? They also did rap ciphers and shit and whatever, right? So why are we surprised that the girls who use AAVE just completely, their whole aesthetic is drenched in black culture? That they look like that they got rated, like that they're niggaboos. Where is this shock coming from? Because I want to understand y'all. There was another time when they had like done the dance practice or something and one of the girls had braids, and then y'all mass emailed the CEO or hairstylist or whatever, and they were like, oh, trust, it'll never happen again. Like, we're gonna learn from it. We love and appreciate y'all. Mwah. We're gonna learn from this. And then they did it again. Like, nobody's surprised at that. Well, clearly y'all are, but it's like, where did the disconnect come from? Where was the disconnect when people were saying that the lyrics were AAVE, and then y'all were like, oh, but it's a black team behind them, that's why. And then like people were like, oh, they love Lauryn Hill, like they give credit to the black people like Erykah Badu and like the rest. Okay, what that got to do with anything, to be honest with you? Like, it was crazy is that y'all are literally liars. Back in February, or I don't know when the song was released, but I know that during that time, that's like when they started adopting like a Y2K type of concept and art direction. And so that led to like fan wars and shit between New Jeans and like, at least XG credit the black people that they're stealing from. Like, I remember that. But I remember saying something about the AAVE and people were like, oh, but their whole team is black, like all the black writers. Okay, well, first of all, it was only for one song. Their debut and that second single were written by like white and Asian people. So it's been an issue for a long time. And I've talked about it each and every time. But whatever. And I also wanted to add that just because there's black writers behind the song doesn't mean that they wrote this song specifically for XG. I'm pretty sure it's like the shit with Liar, where they do the demo, sing it, rap it, whatever, and then give it off to any company that wants to take it. And then from there, the company can change the lyrics and shit. But I don't think they did. Like, that's what it looks like for me. It's not like, oh, let's get all these black writers for XG. It's more like, let's go to the black writers and get these demos, and then never change any of the lyrics. So I'm sure, when Lisa had that fan call with that one black girl, and she told her, like, that's cultural appropriation. Like, you hurt my people with that one. And Lisa was like, teary-eyed, and she was like, oh, I'm never going to do it again. Like, I'm sure within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, like, we gonna see at least 2 members from Blackpink with black hairstyles. Like, and they still using AAVE to this day. Like, nobody's gonna be shocked. Like, that's like me being shocked that Blackpink use AAVE. Just because Lisa and Jennie give Lauryn Hill her credit don't mean that, like, they still not gonna wear our culture as a costume. Like, again, you see how it So I wanted to talk about the discourse surrounding The Idol, the new HBO show that Jennie from Blackpink is going to be in. But I feel like a lot of people are being disingenuous with their critiques. Like, okay, so essentially, if you don't know, The Idol was supposed to originally be a show that I guess was a criticism of the industry and its exploitation of female artists. I don't really know a lot about the background of the TV show because once I saw that Sam Levinson was involved, and then once I found out how weird The Weeknd was, I kind of just stopped really interacting with it. But I'm pretty sure the original concept of the show was just to show the struggles of women within the industry. The Weeknd, who was also in the series, didn't like the direction of the show. He basically had the female director fired and brought in Sam Levinson. And from there, that was their brainchild, all that nasty shit that you see coming out about the TV show and what they have Lily doing. It's all Levinson's and The Weeknd's work. And somehow all of this has been spun into being the fault of the women involved in the TV show. On one hand, I get it. They are grown women. Lily Rose Depp, she defended Sam Levinson and like the drama surrounding the TV show, like with all the rumors about production being horrible, She basically said that those were false allegations. Jennie said that she wanted to work on The Idol because Sam Levinson was involved and he got her to do it. She's also friends with The Weeknd, so that's another reason. But yeah, I get it. They're grown women. They have their own agency and they're not going around acting like they're victims. They're defending the men involved and they're promoting the show, essentially enabling all the bullshit. So with that, it's like, you know, my sister, you don't burn too many bridges. Like, I can't help you at this point. I'm gonna have to step aside and let you take those lashings. But at the same time, it's so frustrating to even discuss it because I know that the only reason ARMY specifically are going so hard at Jennie is because they already don't like Blackpink. Jennie's an easy target who's been at the center of multiple misogynistic hate campaigns, and because she's also dating V. I would say that no matter who was in this position, like in Jennie's role and Lily's role, the women would still somehow receive the brunt end of the criticism, despite this again being the minds of The Weeknd and Sam Levinson. Jennie being attached to it it brings in K-pop stans, and we all know how that goes. And then there's the added layer of women who, like, once they're older and they talk about their early days in the industry, taking on like their first major role, first few roles, how they were often pressured into these very sexual roles, sex scenes, and they discuss their own exploitation and how they wish that they weren't so naive and impressionable at that moment. So that could be another thing, but at the same time, they don't even need this. Like, you're millionaires, you'll be fine, your dad's rich, your mom's rich, you're rich, like, you don't need this. Like, if they spoke up about how disgusting Levinson's work was, if they, you know, wanted to change something about their character and as a result he retaliated and got mad and fired them, whatever, they would have something to fall back onto. The same cannot be said for other women within the industry. So, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be held accountable as well. My point is they shouldn't be receiving the brunt end, and the only reason that they are getting the brunt end is because they are women.